Here's a quick disclaimer. I hope everyone that picks Terrorblade burns in MMR hell. I wish every game that you play has a Bloodseeker, Zeus with Aghanims, and Refresher on the other team. And with that being said, here's your guide to free MMR. Hey guys, Restocker coming at you with another Dota 2 video. In this one I'll be showing you how to jungle with Terrorblade in 6.82. God, I hate this hero, but he's in captain's mode, and we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be wanting to play this hero, especially competitive players, as well as, I guess, some of the amateur teams that want to try running him in the jungle and things like that. So this is going to be a very useful video for you guys. There have been a lot of jungle Terrorblade videos that I've seen, and I don't think they're the best way to jungle with Terrorblade, so I'm going to be showing you guys my take at jungling with him. We're going to start with a Quelling Blade, as well as a Salve, and the Salve acts as a safety net in case you get poor jungle camps or if you get harassed by the enemy junglers, the enemy supports or offlane while you're in the jungle. It's going to give you a little bit of a buffer to play, I guess, a little bit less safe, and you can just salve up. If you get completely untested jungle and you have relatively poor jungle camps, it's going to also counteract one of the poor jungle camps that you get. You can just salve up and basically heal up all the damage you take from it. So if you get something like the Centaur camps and the medium camps, if you get ogres, which are pretty bad, they're very tanky and take a long time to kill, you can just salve up, so it kind of mitigates one poor camp. And if you get really good camps throughout your entire run, it just lets you stay in the jungle for a very long time. So with that being said, we're going to get a Quelling Blade early on, and what we do with the Quelling Blade is we chop down all the trees around the mid camp as well as the high level camp. And the reason we want to do this is because we want to get unobstructed vision between the two camps. Now the medium camp has two camps that will allow you to hit level 2 as soon as you kill them, and those are the wolves and the satyrs, and the high level camp has 3. You have the trolls, the satyrs, as well as the hellbearer smashers. And this is why we get Metamorphosis at level 1, because we want to be able to do the high level camp in case there is a camp there that's going to let us hit level 2. So as you can see, I keep my map in a really good position to see both the medium camp as well as the high level camp, and since the ogres actually don't let us hit level 2, we're going to head on over to the high level camp, do the trolls. This is probably the worst high level camp to get that will actually let you hit level 2, because they're able to do a pretty decent amount of damage to you, because they are ranged as well. So, whoopsie. So that's kind of why you have the salve again. If you get somewhat poor camps, it's going to give you a little bit of buffer. Now if you have, let's say we got the satyr camp or the wolf camp here, and then we had a hellbearer smasher camp, you would still want to do the medium camp, because you can kill the medium camp very easily, and then you'll hit level 2, and then you'll actually be able to get Conjure Image, a Metamorphosis Terrorblade, because you're able to kill the camps that easily, and you're also able to stack it. So at the end of the video I'll give you guys kind of an example of that, just as a quick thing that you guys can do. So the medium camp is very effective. Another thing is you can actually have an ally spot this medium camp for you. So let's say neither of these camps spawned spawn creeps that will tip you over to level 2. You can have an ally just sit here, support or something. After they check the minute rune, you can just ask them politely to check that camp for you, and then if it's a wolves or a satyr camp, you can actually opt to just do those. So there's a lot of ways to hit level 2, and if your teammates are a bunch of butt munches and don't want to actually help you, you can just head on over to that camp yourself, and it'll take an extra 7 or 8 seconds, and if it ends up being a poor camp, you can just do the high level camp. It only wastes about 7 seconds or so. So yeah, there's the option for that. So as you can see, I'm going to use my salve at that point after I do the small camp, and it's very important to micro illusions with Terrorblade. That's probably the biggest component of jungling Terrorblade, is your illusions do the same damage whether they have full HP or if they're at 10 HP. So make sure you keep them alive for as long as possible, and this is where the yin and yang with Terrorblade is. You want to be able to tank as much as you can, but at the same time you want to make sure you don't tank too much, because your illusions are going to spawn with like 1/3 HP if you're sitting at an extremely low HP pool. So sometimes you may have to just make sure you might have to just sacrifice an illusion and make sure it dies, so Terrorblade doesn't tank an extra 2 hits or something like that. It's kind of hard to explain, and just get a feel for it as you play with Terrorblade a lot. So here I get my Metamorphosis in 3 seconds. If this was a troll camp, I wouldn't be able to do it, but since it's not a troll camp, I'm going to be able to do Metamorphosis and start jungling. The reason I wait an extra 2 seconds is because I want to make sure I don't stack the camp. I just want to kill it. Stacking the camp would be pretty ideal, but once again, if I get the troll camp, I'm not going to be able to finish off the rest of the camp. So rather than taking the risk, I opt to just safely do it with the Wildkins here. So if this was a troll camp, as I walked by, I would head on over to the high level camp to see what was here. If this was also a troll camp and you got some really bad RNG, you can opt to do the medium camp and kill that relatively easily with Conjure Image and Metamorphosis. So now I'm going to head on over to the medium camp. As you can see, I bought my Ring of Aquila, and Ring of Aquila is the first item that you want to purchase because it gives you so many good stats, gives you really nice regen for the mana. Terrorblade's spells have relatively low mana cost, and he has really high int gain. I shouldn't say int gain, but base int. His base int is very good. So he's able to spam a lot of spells as long as you have the mana regen. So I'm going to get a Ring of Aquila as fast as I can. I buy that Ring of Aquila, do as much damage as I can to the medium camp there, and then I'm going to suicide. I'm going to spawn my illusions in base, and then I'm going to try to do the high level camp as best I can. And I'm going to speed up the video and run it at ×2 from this point because I explained a lot of the major parts of Terrorblade early on. After you hit level 3, level 4, it becomes much easier to jungle with Terrorblade. The reason I actually sacrificed the image there was because it was going to time out, so I might as well just sacrifice the illusion altogether. Another thing, as you may have noticed, I didn't summon an extra illusion against the big satyr creep there, because if you have 2 illusions and Terrorblade, it'll shoot the Hadouken, much like if you have 2 illusions and Terrorblade, the Hellbears will clap, the Centaurs will stomp. The Centaurs aren't so bad, so I'm actually going to spawn an extra image here, and Conjure Image here, because they've lost their attack speed aura, and that aura now belongs to the Hellbear. So the Hellbear is really bad for melee Terrorblade to take, because if you summon 2 illusions, it's going to clap and also has more attack speed, so you're going to take so much damage. So if you get the melee Hellbears, I would highly suggest that you Metamorphosis against them. So at this point, at level 5, in a real game, if I were you, I would highly advise you Metamorphosis, go Conjure Image, and just blow up a tower. It's so easy to do that with Terrorblade. Just come out of the jungle, you're about the same level, if not higher, than your safe lanes. You're almost the same level as mid players at this point, so it's highly advised that you just go take a tower very early on. The nukes aren't going to be doing too much damage, it'll be very hard to kill your illusions, but once again, I want to make this jungle run only about jungle creeps to show you that you can still get an extremely quick Yasha and a lot of your main items straight from jungling. Another thing you're going to note is that with Terrorblade, I'm going to let my illusions finish off any of the kind of residual creeps or creeps with really low HP, and I'm going to run to another camp with my hero. Now, the rule of thumb is if your illusions have low HP, let them finish off the creeps in a camp, and if your illusions have a lot of HP, have Terrorblade finish the creeps in a camp, and then you yourself will run to another camp. Or send your illusions off to another camp, since they're more healthy and they're able to tank, and it saves you a little bit of extra time, but having that extra time is always really nice. So basically what happened there was, I'm going to slow down the video to explain. I'm actually going to rewind a little bit here. So what's happening here is the big wolf is actually not able to hit Terrorblade, because you can see it's actually blocked by the small creep here, and what happens is the big creep, during its attack animation and the backswing, the little ones will actually run in front of it. And these small alpha creeps, well, all the wolves actually only have 90 attack range, and Terrorblade has 128. So even though there's these small wolves blocking the big one, Terrorblade's actually able to attack past those wolves because he has 128 range, and the little ones only have, well, all the wolves have 90. So he's actually able to outrange the big wolf, and he's able to hit the big wolf even though it's not able to hit him. And you're able to do this with all melee camps, except for the Wildkins, which also have 128 range. The only other creep to have 128 range is the Granite Golem, I believe, the melee creep, and every other melee creep except for the Wolves, the Wildkin, and the Granite Golem have 100 melee attack range. Actually, the Skeleton Warriors from the Troll Warlord actually have 90 melee range as well, I believe. Yeah, so I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to jungle creeps, but that's a pretty cool thing to know, and there's a pretty nice jungle trick that you can do with just about any melee camp for choke point jungling. And sometimes it's kind of hard to actually do that trick, sometimes you just get lucky. So anyways, after that camp, I'm going to walk on over to the small camp here. I'm going to jungle it, I'm going to have my Metamorphosis up, and I'm going to pop it, head on over to the big camp, and pretty fortunate that it's not the troll camp there. And even if it is a troll camp, you'll be able to take it with this low HP. You'll be surprised. You're able to mitigate almost 50% damage at this point, especially with the Ring of Aquila. And as long as you're kiting back and forth, you'll be able to take the even the troll camp here at this point, even with this low amount of HP. So I'm gonna head on over to the side over here, so that I'm gonna let the big camp spawn one more time. Gonna spawn my conjure images, get the Hellbear Smasher. They aren't going to be able to do too much to us because we're just going to kite with Metamorphosis all day. Gonna pick up my Bracer as well as my Boots of Speed. Sometimes people get an extra Wraith Band. I don't feel that's the best way to item of choice, because you want to build a drums after you pick up your Yasha. You want to go Ring of Aquila, Yasha, drums. Sometimes you may even opt to just go Ring of Aquila into drums. But the thing with drums on Terrorblade is it works extremely well with Yasha, especially if you actually pop the active. You start going race car mode. It's like Autobots roll out. And as you can see, always microing my illusions, making sure that they stay alive, because illusions, once again, whether they have 10 HP or whether they have 100% HP, they do the same damage. So you want to keep them alive for as long as possible. So we're going to hoof it back to base, heal up, and so my GG branch, pick up the Ring of Alacrity. The only components we're missing for the Yasha now are the Band of Elden Skin as well as the Yasha recipe. So in this run I actually end up picking Yasha up at like 12 minutes I think, but if you get a tower down, you'll be able to get it a little bit faster. So as you can see at this point, I summon my illusions. I'm just gonna it's pretty self-explanatory, there's not really much else to do at this point. I'm going to hold on to Metamorphosis because I might actually need it to push a tower, or if a fight were to happen, I will always want to have that up. So you don't want to blow your Metamorphosis willy-nilly. And at this point, I'm going to player perspective. I have my Band of Elden Skin, and if I got a tower, I would be able to get it. So you get a Yasha at about 11 minutes and 20 seconds, which is pretty good if you were to take a tower down. If you take multiple towers down, which is very likely, you'll be able to get it much faster than that. So that's just something to note. So Terrorblade is extremely good jungler. You'll have to learn the limits of the hero as well as how strong the neutral camps are going to be, and you can only get that, you'll get a feel for it the more and more you jungle with them. So sometimes you'll have poor camps and you'll have to react a particular way. Sometimes you'll have good camps and you'll be able to abuse that fact. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll be showing you what you can actually do if you get a really good camp spawn right off the bat. Alright, so this is what you guys can do if you get a good neutral creep spawn. Let's just hope that I get satyrs or wolves here so I can show you what I mean. Okay, good, perfect, we got satyrs. So what you're going to do is walk on over as quick as possible, and you want to do as much damage to the creeps as you can. You're going to always want to be animation cancelling, getting rid of that pesky backswing. And it doesn't matter if you kill a neutral camp or a neutral creep right out. You just want to make sure you do as much damage to it as you can while you're jungling. Now, when it gets to this point, you want to wait, let the neutrals walk back into the base, attack at about 55 seconds, make sure they all walk out of the camps. That was really close, but make sure they all walk out of the camps, and then you're going to want to kill off the remaining ones. As you can see, you're going to hit level 2, make sure you immediately get Conjure Image, boom. These are some really nice camps that we got. Make sure your illusion walks in really close to tank as much damage as it initially can. Make sure it walks back. Hey, come back. The lag is real, boys. And girls. I notice only 3% of my viewers are girls. More people need to play Dota. Stop being so rude, guys. Or else no one is going to play Dota, including other people. Alright, so basically that's what you can do if you get really nice camps. So this is what you can do with Terrorblade on the Dire side. It's very similar to the Radiant side at its core. It's basically the same thing, so I'm not really going to explain or kind of show you the Dire jungle pattern. It's very similar. We're going to get Metamorphosis at level 1. What I do want to show you guys is which trees to cut, so you can get a pretty similar opening to the Radiant side. And from then on, it's basically the same thing. You rotate camps, you tank with Terrorblade when you can. Make sure illusions get the most effectiveness out of them by microing them properly. All that stuff is basically the same thing. But what I have to show you is which trees to cut. So we're going to cut these trees here. I cut that one down over there earlier so that you can actually choke point jungle if you come from this avenue. The reason we cut these trees here is so that we get vision of the medium camp while also getting vision of the high level camp, so we can tell which camp to do immediately. We're going to kind of stand around here so we can see which high level camp spawns, and then we're going to run over to the left here to see which medium camp spawns, and then we're also cutting these trees here so that we can cliff jungle, much like what I did earlier on in the video just before this. So much like the trees I cut here to cliff jungle, we're going to be cutting these ones here so that we can cliff jungle. And you'll be pretty surprised at how much gold you can actually get by doing this kind of technique. With Windrunner, Invoker, like Luna, you get quite a bit of gold. The problem is you're probably going to get an earful out of your teammates. because a lot of those heroes aren't particularly great at ganking or pushing, unlike Terrorblade and Lycan, or even Enigma, who can offer a lot when they are in the jungle. So when the creeps are about to spawn, you're going to run over here to see which camp spawn in the high level camp. We have the tomato and the potato, we have centaurs over there, and we have centaurs over here. So naturally we're going to go to the camp that's going to allow us to hit level 2. And if none of the camps are actually going to put you over to level 2, you should go to the medium camp here, try to clear that as fast as possible, and then just kind of proceed from there. Head on over here and choke point jungle that camp to hit level 2. So that's kind of why we cut the trees exactly as we do. So that's basically it. That's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoy playing Terrorblade and getting some free MMR. Oh god, this hero is super fun. I guess that's the only thing to say about Terrorblade. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and GG.